Hey, Money Masters, welcome to another episode of The Wealth Seed. Listen, we are here helping women entrepreneurs. And even though we target women, this information is for anyone, right? But we're helping women entrepreneurs to take control of their money, to master it, to create wealth so that they can advance the kingdom of God. That's right. I work with those women entrepreneurs and business women, career women as well, who want to do more for the kingdom, but they feel like they don't have enough money or enough resources to do so. So I'm showing them how to create wealth, and not only to create wealth for themselves and for the kingdom, but also for their children's children, as the Bible instructs us to do, right? So, welcome. This is episode 22, I believe. And of course, we're here. We're going to have our crazy money story. And today we're talking about who is actually responsible for your financial freedom. Because listen, the way many of us operate, we act like we are not the ones who are in control, right? And I already gave you the answers. We are the ones who are responsible. But who do we when we are investing for our financial freedom or any other things that we're doing? We're certainly not acting like that. And I'm going to tell you who we've been placing that responsibility on. And we need to take back that responsibility and that control so that we can become financially free. And I'm going to talk about the two types of income that you need to have during what we call retirement. I'm using the air quotes. We're going to get into all of that, and you'll understand why I'm using air quotes. All right. Then we'll talk about what's upcoming and we'll get out of here, right? So let's get into our crazy money story for this week. Now, this week, we are talking about, normally I come in here, not normally, but I have in the past come on and talked about like weird things you can do, weird jobs you can do to make income, right? So I'm going to do that again, but this one has a little twist. This is what some weird things that you can do online to make some income, right? So let's get to it. I'm going to share three of these with you. There's an article that I got this from. Um, the website is nichepursuits.com. Weird ways to make money online. They list like 45 of them, right? But I'm going to only go through three of them here today. So let's dig in. So the first one, maybe I'll do four of them. The first one is be a friend, right? Now we've all heard of the concept of paying for people to hug you, paying for dates to weddings or whatever the case may be, right? This is of that same line. Of course, it's online, right? So it's not like in person. This be a friend. You can make money online by being a friend to someone. And they're doing this on Fiverr. So if you're not familiar with Fiverr, Fiverr is a it's a place that you can go online, fiverr.com, and you can advertise your services. And a lot of times it started out being like graphic design, logos. Then it moved into like videos and do intros for videos and all kinds of things, right? And now you can see that they're even expanding into some other things. So you can find this on Fiverr, which means that you can advertise your service of being a friend on Fiverr. So what do? They just simply chat with somebody who needs a friend to chat with. It says, I will be your online friend by chat. Okay. Who knew, right? But people out there obviously need people to talk to, and they will pay for it. Okay. And some of the examples that I saw, there could be more, but some of the examples that I saw, they were charging like $5 to $15. I don't know all the details, as far as how much time they offer for that or whatever the case may be. If you're interested, hey, I'm sure you can get on Fiverr and go check it out some more. Okay. Another one, become a mukbanger. I actually just added this one. So, and I've seen a lot of people on particularly YouTube where I've seen it. I'm sure some of you may have seen it on some other social media platforms, but I've seen it on YouTube quite a bit where people are doing mukbangs. So, what exactly or who exactly is a mukbanger? They are someone that eats a large quantity of food for an audience, right? And they share what they think about the food. Um, some of them like some of them do just kind of local places. Some people travel around the world and do it. But in either case, you can, sit down and feast and talk. So it's sort of like, a podcast over food, right? Because a lot of them are not, they eat, they do discuss the food, but they're also discussing other things as well. So very, very interesting. All right. Now, another one that I wanted to share with you is, and I'm coming to it. The next one that I wanted to share with you is um, you have the ability to sell pictures of your feet. Okay. Now, I don't know that this is necessarily news to anyone. I've heard of this concept before, but I wanted to share it again here today. There are sites specifically where you can make money for sharing pictures of your feet. Um, Now, I would never personally do mine because I don't think my feet are anything gorgeous to look at. But, hey, you never know. Snap a few pictures of your feet. There is, I think, a website that's called like Feet Finder or something like that. Feetify and InstaFeet. Those are two different sites. And wow, make money. Okay. There is, according to this article, a woman that is making $70,000 a year just selling pictures of her feet. She has made like a whole business out of it. Okay. I've said this before, I'll keep saying it. There is a market for everything. Okay. And the last one that I want to share with you is sometimes I'm like, I never thought, it's not like it's a strange, totally way out there concept, but it's just, I didn't ever thought about it. Right. So this one was virtual babysitter. Okay. So, yep, you guessed it. It's an online babysitter. And I would imagine that a parent would use this maybe if they have to clean or they're working at home and they need someone to entertain the child, watch the child while they're doing whatever they need to do around the house. I would imagine that a parent wouldn't leave the house and just have a virtual babysitter. Lord have mercy. I would hope that that's not the case. But you can get paid as a virtual babysitter. So you will keep the kids engaged, you entertain the children from a computer screen, and make some money while you do it. And there are companies, okay, whole companies that will allow you to do this, like Virtual Babysitters Club is one, Puppeteers. Um, oh, I'm sorry. When I say puppeteers, these are different things. These are different ways in which you can entertain the kids, right? You can do puppet work. You can dance. You can have, musicians, art, game shows, all kinds of stuff that, you kids will be entertained by. You can make cash doing that virtually as a virtual babysitter. All right. So if some of you are looking for ways to make more money in 2023, you might want to check some of those things out. All right. Good afternoon to those of you that are watching live. I see someone say good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. I can't see who you are because it just says Facebook user, but you know what? If you give me a second, I'm going to pull it up um, on my phone, and then I'll be able to see who you are. I'll be able to see who you are, and I can address you by name. Hey, Kristen. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'll be able to see you. All right, so let's get into it. Our topic for today, right? Who is responsible or who is not responsible for your financial freedom? All right. And so many of us have, we have had like opened up like 401ks, IRAs, all kinds of things. And then we've kind of just done like a set it or forget it, right? As if the employer is responsible for your financial freedom, or as if the investment company that you may be using is responsible for your financial freedom. And so, what I want to share with you off the top is that you have to take an active part in creating wealth for yourself. There is nothing that's really like set it and forget it. There are some things maybe that you can do and then just not look at for some time, maybe twice a year you look at it, or maybe quarterly, or maybe once a year, right? But not a complete set it and forget it. And so many people, and how do I know this? Because I've been doing this work since 2012, okay? And many clients that I have sat down with have, they just have started their 401ks, their IRAs, that whatever. They haven't looked at it in years. They haven't looked at it in years. They have no idea what they're invested in. They have no idea if they're on track to obtain financial freedom, whatever that means to them. They have no idea, whether they need to shift some things around or be more aggressive or be more conservative they have no idea. Half of them don't even remember their logins to their accounts. Half of them, they can't tell you anything, right? All they can tell you is I have one. I don't know. Some of them can't even tell you. They can't even remember like who is the company holding, their accounts, right? So it's important that we know first and foremost that it is you and it is I who are responsible for our financial freedom. Never set a thing and forget it forever, right? Like I said, it may be quarterly you look at it, or twice a year, or once a year. Depending on what it is, that's fine. But never set and just forget for years, okay? Too much is going on in the market. When we talk about money, things just don't stay the same, okay? We've got inflation that goes up and down. We've just got all kinds of things that are going on. The market goes up and down. When it's up, it's great. When it's down, it can also be great, right? But then there may be some other strategic moves that you need to make when the market is down. So never set it and forget it. You are responsible. Now, I want to talk about a certain aspect of preparing for retirement. You see me using my air quotes because, again, if you've watched me before, I will tell you retirement is not an age. Okay. Most people think, oh, retirement should occur at age 65 or 72 or whatever age you think it should occur. But retirement can occur whenever you want it to occur. Okay. If you plan for it, and follow and execute that plan. Retirement also simply is just having some options, because sometimes people will say, well, I don't think I really want to retire, because in our minds, the way we have been conditioned, retirement means, hey, sitting down, stop working, right? And so there are people who are like, no, I don't think I want to sit down. And that's fine, right? Because we were actually created to do, okay? And we don't always have to do at the same level. So what retirement means is that this is the time, okay, where I now have options. All right. So if you decide, you know what, Lexi, by age 45, okay, maybe in your 20s now or your early 30s, and you're like, by age 45, 50, I want to have options. Okay. I want to be able to, using my air quotes again, retire. Not necessarily that I just have to sit down and do nothing, but I want to be able to retire. I don't want to wait till age 65, whatever the case may be, right? I want to have options. Well, one of the things that we need to think about as we are planning for retirement is what we call guaranteed income, non-guaranteed income. Okay. What is guaranteed income? What is guaranteed income? Whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay, I'm going to give you a moment to put your thoughts in the chat. Okay. Remember, we're talking about air quotes retirement. What is guaranteed? What is considered guaranteed income, right? Take some guesses, right? Where, safe place. Ain't nobody gonna get at you because maybe you put the wrong answer in there or whatever, right? This is important. We need to know this. So while I'm waiting for you all to drop answers, I'm going to say this. One of the things, and again, I'm always saying this, that we need to know is what our financial independence number is. What is that, Lexi? That is the dollar amount that you need, okay, that is going to sustain you from the time you retire um, until you pass away, right? So, in other words, not running out of money. You want to retire at age 45, you want to retire at age 50, age 55, or whatever age you want to retire, great. Okay. But now we need to make sure that we plan that you can retire and that you can stay retired. If you retire at 50, we may need to be planning for about 35 years. Okay. Um, if you retire at 60, we may be needing to plan for 30 years. Okay. So we need to know what that number is, and you can know that number down to the dollar. Okay. There are ways to figure that out. Now, once you know what your financial independence number is, now we got to look at that and say, okay, how much of this should be guaranteed income and how much of it should be non guaranteed income? And it can differ, it can vary for different people based on goals, based on what they believe their expenses will be, all of those things. So that can be different, right? Generally speaking, some will say 50-50. Okay. 50% of your financial independence number should be in guaranteed income, and 50% should be in non guaranteed income. All right, so let's talk about what these are, guaranteed and non guaranteed income. I'm going to start with non guaranteed income. So, non guaranteed income is any income that is subjected to the market. Okay, now remember, we're talking about in retirement. So, if you were thinking about like a job, no, we're not talking about that. If you were thinking about any kind of income that you are actively out there working again, no, that's not what we're talking about, because essentially what we're saying is by this time you have the option to have a seat, right, and not make active income. And I hate to burst bubbles, okay, but the paycheck that you get from your job is not guaranteed income anyhow. Can we just say that, okay, and know and understand that? Some people feel like, oh, because this place pays every 2 weeks or once a month or twice a month or however it pays, it's guaranteed income. And no, it's not, because this place can decide to shut down. It can decide to reduce how much it's paying out. It could decide to lay off. It could decide to do all kinds of things, right? And it may not be doing these things maliciously, but stuff happens. Okay. So you're going to these jobs, you're working these jobs, and we just have this complete and total faith that this job will be there, right? That's how we've been conditioned. So I need you to know and understand right now that your job is not, the income is not guaranteed. Okay. Now, there's been some places that have been around forever and likely will continue to be around. Sure. Okay. But understand these things, different things can happen. Okay. And that income can be gone. All right. So we are not talking about active income. All right. So non guaranteed income is any income that is subjected to the market. Okay. So income that you would have in a 401k, in an IRA, in any type of IRA or any other type of investments, those things are subject to the market. If the market goes up, yay, perhaps the value of your portfolio goes up. If the market goes down, not so good, right? Because that means the value, and we're talking about if it goes down systemically, like we're experiencing over this last year and a half, right? The market goes down, then likewise, your portfolio, it may go down. Okay. And I say may because we talk about diversifying that portfolio, right? And so, whatever you're invested in, that you're not just invested in individual stocks, but maybe some mutual funds, some ETFs, and other things, so it's diverse, and so that if one aspect of the market is down, maybe not your whole portfolio is down. But nonetheless, I don't want to go all the way off into a rabbit hole down that way. Nonetheless, non-guaranteed income is income that is still subjected to the market. Okay, when you retire, start to live off of your 401k, your IRA, your um, any of those things, the portion that is left in it, okay, is still subject to the market. All right, so that's non-guaranteed income. Okay, any other investments? It could be investments in crypto, it could be investments in art, it could be in whatever. Those are all non-guaranteed income. Okay, so what is guaranteed income? Well, let's talk about that. Guaranteed income is the portion of your monies that are not your retirement monies, that are not tied, that are not subject to the market. Okay. Now, as I was saying earlier, we don't have jobs that are doing pension plans anymore, or defined pension plans, right? Because that was a form of guaranteed income. Most of these places now have completely shifted over to 401ks, right? And as a result of that, the 401k is not guaranteed income, okay? Which means that it is definitely your responsibility to make sure that your 401k is keeping up and that it is performing and that it is, on track and all of those things. You are responsible for your financial future, okay? And your own guaranteed income planning. There aren't any entities, very rare, okay? I'm going to say not any, but very rare, there are any entities that have a defined pension plan that would help you with this guaranteed income. Okay. And even if there are still a few around and that do, you still have to, understand how that works and how much guaranteed income you would be getting. I know for teachers, they still have some sort of defined pension plan, but you got to understand it based on how many years you work and yada yada yada. So make sure you understand how that works and how much you would be getting, right? Because obviously if you leave before a certain period of time, it's less. If all kinds of stuff, make sure you understand how it works. All right, so now let's talk about this guaranteed income. Okay, guaranteed income is income that is not subject to the market. So some people consider Social Security as a guaranteed income program. Okay. Um, I guess for traditional, definition, you could. I personally am not one who likes to depend on Social Security, but one can if that's what they want to do. All right. But here are some other sources, private sources of guaranteed income. All right. So we already talked about the defined benefit pensions. Not many places are doing that. There's also what we call reverse mortgages. Okay. Now I'm going to go through these and I'm going to tell you like what my favorite ones are or the ones that I lean more towards. But you've got the reverse mortgage. So the reverse mortgage, I believe you have to be like 62 or older to qualify to do something like that. And this is where you borrow money against your home equity. Yes, it is a loan, but I'll tell you how it's paid back in just a moment. So if you're short on cash or have, problems paying your bills, a reverse mortgage will actually is actually income, guaranteed income, right? It could come in a lump sum, it could come monthly, it could come as a line of credit. And so it helps you to cover those costs, right? So Um, they grant the loans based on your they grant or deny the loans based on your age and your life expectancy and the value of the home and the amount being borrowed. Okay, so they don't look at your credit history. They look at all these other things, right? And then you typically have to have some type of counseling session required by the state, so that you understand how it works and what's involved. Okay. And then what happens is when you need to sell the home, then the proceeds from the sale goes towards covering any remaining loan balance, plus fees and interest. Okay. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat, this is not one of my favorite ways of making sure that you have income. Okay. Because really, um, you can get caught up if you don't really understand how this works. You can use the money for anything. Okay, so there's no limitations there. You can use it for home improvements, taxes, bills, credit card bills, medical, whatever, insurance, vacations, to pay your current mortgage, whatever. You can use that money for all of those things. Okay, the thing that you have to be aware of though with the reverse mortgage is that if you don't stay up on your taxes, okay, on your property taxes or your home insurance, you're considered in default, and then the bank can foreclose. Okay. Um, and then, yeah, so you want to be mindful of that. Okay. And then also the other thing that you want to be mindful of is when the last person that's on the loan moves out of the home, okay, you or any co-borrower, the loan comes due and it has to be repaid. Okay. So typically what it means is that the home has to be sold, which I've said this already. Home has to be sold so you can pay off the loan. So this is not something where, your children can inherit the home. Okay. So be very aware of that. Children cannot inherit the home. Not one of my favorite ways of doing it, of making sure you have guaranteed income, but it is a way. All right. The next is bond portfolios. Okay, so you've got stocks, you've got bonds. Stocks are equity. Stocks means you have ownership in that particular company. A bond, on the other hand, this is monies that you are loaning the company. So you don't have ownership in the company, but you are giving the company a loan. Okay. And so they're going to tell you that, or they're going to say, all right, this bond or whatever, you hold it for this many years and it will give you back this amount of interest on your money. So the reason why it's called guaranteed income is because bonds are what they call safer investments, right? Because generally speaking, bonds the bonds are paid out. Now, if you have a government bond, probably the safest bond, okay, because they typically say, hey, the government does definitely pay their debt. Then you can have bonds with, corporate entities and things of that nature. So the downside to this, though, is that though it's income, it's not like monthly income, right? These bonds will pay out at a certain time. So if you're looking for monthly income, this isn't it, okay? But if you're looking for income later on down the line, it might be a way to explore. Again, not really my favorite way, but it is an option. It could be part of your portfolio in terms of guaranteed income. I definitely think it should be a portion of your portfolio for that. But you know, probably the best ones are like municipal bonds. Like I said, government bonds. Those are probably like the best ones. Okay, if you're going to do that. Um, what else do I want to say about? What else do I want to say about the bonds? Be mindful. Okay, do check like the interest that they are promised to return to you, because again, you want things that are going to be able to keep up with inflation, right? Certain bonds are riskier than others. I mentioned this already, but also um, the riskier they are, of course, the higher the return they're going to give you. Now, you're not going to get as high as a return as you get with a stock, but nonetheless, that is an option for guaranteed income. All right. The next one is CDs, right? probably they might be the worst way, I think. Now, CDs back in the day used to be a great thing because they used to give some really good interest, but not anymore, right? CDs are certificates of deposits, okay? And so these they're sold by banks or credit unions or some other financial institutions. Sometimes they're even called time deposits, and they're called time deposits because the institution will hold your money for a predetermined time, okay? And you are restricted from using that money during that period of time. Obviously, if you do, there are penalties for that. So again, this is not something, if you're looking for like some type of guaranteed monthly income, this is not it, okay? But it does generate income over time. And then, like I said, CDs aren't paying much at all, a couple percent, if even that. So again, this would not be one of my go-tos for guaranteed income. Okay. It is the most conservative product that you can purchase. And so what does that mean? If it's the most conservative product, meaning it is the least, it's going to return the least. Okay. They're stable, though. If safety means more to you than versus having some monthly income, they're stable. But again, they're not 100% liquid, meaning you can't just tap into it whenever you feel like and withdraw. Okay. You're going to face some penalties for doing so. Okay. Again, these things are not keeping up with inflation. I'm just going to say it. They're not, period. Okay. And my thing is, you want to look at something that is going to keep up with inflation. All right. But it is a form of guaranteed income. All right. Then you have annuities. So annuities is probably, it's up there for me as one of the ways that you want to use it. It's not my top selection, but it definitely is up there. I think it's just my personal opinion. I think it's better than some of these other options out here. You've got two different types of annuities. You have fixed, you have variable. The fixed annuity is going to guarantee you a minimum interest rate. Okay. Variable is going to earn returns based on the performance of the market. So the interest, though, in the variable annuity isn't guaranteed, right? So if you want to go for some strictly guaranteed, then it's going to be the fixed annuity. And they also have what's called a fixed indexed annuity. And the indexed annuity earns interest based on changes in the market index, which measures how the market or part of the market performs. The interest rate is guaranteed to never be less than zero, even if the market goes down. So that's the nice protection of that even if the market goes down, your principal is not going to go down. It has a minimum, it has a floor, if you will, which could be zero, or it could be a little higher depending upon, what you choose. But that is the fixed annuity. So out of the three that's the fixed index annuity. So out of the three, fixed annuity, variable annuity, fixed indexed annuity, the fixed index annuity for me would rank high on my list. Now, because it ranks high on my list doesn't mean it ranks high on your list, because again, it's going to depend on your needs, right? And what's going on in your situation at the time. So the fixed annuity may be it for you, right? So Again, these are things that you would have to sit down and talk with your, advisor and determine, which one of these things are best for you. Now, there is one last way that I want to share with you about guaranteed income. And it actually happens to be my personal favorite. But again, just because it's my favorite doesn't necessarily mean that it is right for you in your situation. I want to put that out there as I'm sharing these things. Is the education only. I'm not telling anybody right now to run out and go get this, because there are things that need to be looked at to make sure that it is the right vehicle for you. And this is what we call the IUL, the Indexed Universal Life Insurance Policy, right? Like, life insurance for guaranteed income? Yes. I thought life insurance was for, death and burial and income replacement. Yeah, it is, but you can use this vehicle it for the purpose of creating wealth. So if you're using it for the purpose of creating wealth, then what does that mean? The death benefit is not really what we're concerned about, okay? We're using it to create wealth. It's also, you may be familiar with the term infinite banking, um, be your own bank, those types of things, okay? That's what you would use an index universal life policy for, to create that guaranteed income. Okay, and it can be structured in a way that gives you a, sets a floor. Okay, and then it also has a cap. Okay, so the floor could be zero, right? So that you don't lose anything that you've put in. And then the cap could be, who knows, 20%, whatever the case may be, who knows? I'm making up numbers. Okay, and then it's a indexed, okay, universal life, which means that it is, your money is not in the market itself. Okay, so your money is not subject to the ups and downs of the market, right? Don't have time to go into all of that today, the ins and outs of how it works. I will be doing this specifically for those who are in my private group and on my email list. I'll be holding kind of a uh, I don't know what you want to call it, like a webinar or something soon, where I'll be talking about this very, very specifically. But it is another way in which you can um, create wealth. You can live off of that wealth. It could generate income for you again in a lump sum, a monthly income, and you can do it without being taxed. That is what puts it number one on my list, because there's a way that you can do it without being taxed. Everything else, taxes. Okay, this, there's a way that you can do it without being taxed. And so that happens to be my favorite way of creating guaranteed income. Now, again, I'm going to warn you, just because it's my favorite way doesn't mean that it's the right vehicle for you, right? But certainly we could have conversation to see what types of things may be um, uh, best for you in your situation. So the main point here is that we need to understand we need both guaranteed and non-guaranteed income when it comes to retirement. Okay, we don't want, even in retirement, all your monies to be subject to the ups and downs of the market. You need to know, okay, that I can, sit down for the next however many years, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 years, and not be worried about not about running out of money, right? And so I am encouraging you. Many many people have to start with, again, just, I don't even know what my financial independence number is. So many of you are going to have to start there, right? And then you're going to have to go through and look at, okay, what am I putting aside anything now for retirement, and in what vehicles, right? And how much, and all of that. And then, so we got to get a good picture of where you are now, so that we could work on strategy, your overall strategy, which may include some of the things that I talked about today. But know this for sure. Okay. When it comes to retirement, you need to make sure that you are planning for both guaranteed and non guaranteed income. It is not enough just to have a 401k, it is not enough just to have an IRA. It's not enough. Okay. And then there are strategies. You might be like, well, I don't know if I even have enough to do like some of this other non-guaranteed stuff, right? Because annuities, IULs, you may need a certain amount of money to put into it, each month, so that you can yield out of it what you desire when you retire, right? So it's a whole, thing. You can't just go out and just do these things haphazardly. You can't just go out and say, okay, I went and got an IUL. Okay, glad you got one. But do you even know, what's your financial independence number? What portion of your portfolio is it? How exactly is it helping you reach your financial goal, right? You need to know this stuff, right? And this is what people are doing. They're just out there. Well, I heard somebody talking about, you know, IULs, or I heard somebody talking about annuities, so I'm gonna go get one. Or I heard, this. And listen, get on my calendar, right? And let's talk about what it would take to come up with a financial strategy for you. All right. All right. So that's all that we have. My calendar link is in the bio. What's upcoming? Oh my goodness, 2023 is upcoming, right? But we are still in December, and we still have our 30% off sale going on our merch, 30% off on Legacy TV packages. If you have a show, a podcast, you're just starting out, you desire to have some global exposure, you want to check us out. And then what else is going on? I don't know. Lots of stuff is going on. So stay tuned. Okay. Stay tuned. We've got our course, the Wealth Seed Online. That's our flagship course. It is now going to be offered through Global Impact University. So stay tuned. Lots of great stuff coming in the new year. All right. Well, that's all that I have to share with you all today. Hope that this has been very helpful. Share it with somebody. You guys have an amazing rest of your week, and an amazing new year if I don't see you before January 1. All right. Bye.